This is the Content Marketing Podcast, episode number 243, Rekindle the Romance with Relationship Marketing. Hello and welcome to the Content Marketing Podcast. This is the show where we help you grow your tribe and your bottom line through insanely good content. I'm your host, Rachel Parker of Resonance Content Marketing, and today is September 7th, 2017. Hello, or as we say in Texas, howdy, and thank you for joining us for today's episode of the Content Marketing Podcast. Remember, this podcast is available on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play Music, so if you like what you hear, please feel free to click on over and subscribe. I also invite you to download our complimentary audio and ebook, B2B Content Marketing, from the blog to the bottom line. Download today and learn how to drive engagement at each stage of the B2B buyer's journey. To snag your free copy, go to contentmarketinggift.com. Well, I am supposed to be not here right now. I am supposed to be at Content Marketing World. If you follow this podcast, you've heard me excitedly chirping about the fact that I was selected to serve as a moderator. Was so excited, had my plane ticket, had my hotel, and then this little bastard named Harvey came along and decided to take a dump on Houston. So no Content Marketing World from me. And you know what? To be honest, if the biggest problem is I didn't get to go to my fancy conference, that is that is so far beyond what or so far less than what many people are dealing with after this storm. So it was disappointing, but I've talked to them. They say we're definitely going to invite you back next year, and I'm busily following the action on Twitter. So if you want to follow Content Marketing World, the hashtag is CMWorld. They've got some fantastic presentations going on, and looking forward to some of the recaps. So if you are at Content Marketing World, have a great time for me, and maybe I will catch you there next year. I did have a tremendously beautiful surprise on Tuesday morning. I logged on to my email, and I got an email from Lee Oden. You might know Lee Oden. He's with Top Rank Marketing. He's a major thought leader in our field. And the message was that I made his list of 50 influential women in content marketing. And it was such a wonderful surprise. I didn't know there was such a thing as this list. But this is something that he put out in advance of Content Marketing World. And I have the honor to be mentioned alongside people like Mari Smith and just some terrific ladies. So, Lee, thank you again. It's a tremendous honor. And if you want to check out the list, I will put the link in the blog post for this episode. It is over at the toprankblog.com. And if you scroll down, you'll find out the content marketing influencers list. So that was really unexpected, really exciting, and just a wonderful surprise after a pretty stressful week down here. So speaking of which, last week I broke with our format a little bit. Well, okay, a lot, when I shared my evacuee story from Hurricane Harvey. By the way, thank you to everyone who's contacted me for an update. We are back in the house. We have power. We have internet. Our biggest challenge is we have limited mobility because the main access road to our subdivision is still flooded, but we do have a makeshift entrance that is being used until that clears up. So again, minor inconvenience compared to the destruction that so many people are dealing with. So if you're so inclined, please continue to pray for Houston. If you're not so inclined, we'll take what you got. Good thoughts, good vibrations, crystals, whatever you got for us. We will gladly accept it. Anyway, if you happen to miss that episode, feel free to check it out on iTunes or via the RSS feed. Today we're talking relationship marketing and how content can help us rekindle the romance with our current customers. But first, it's time to check in with our news feed for this week's rundown of news you can use. Instagram is fixing to broaden the number of places where you can engage with Instagram stories, in that they will be making stories available via web browsers on both mobile devices and desktop. Now, I saw someone refer to this blog post on the Instagram blog, and the blog post talks about it as if it's a done deal, but I am not seeing it either on my mobile web browser or my desktop. So I'm thinking it's in a rollout right now. Maybe their blog writer got a little overexcited. But when it does roll out, stories will appear at the top of the feed on the mobile web and to the right of the feed on desktop web browsers. And of course, you can always see it on the app, but this is through the web browsers. Now, this is only for viewing stories. The blog post claims that you will actually be able to post stories from the mobile web in the coming months. But the first thing we're going to see is the ability to view stories. And I don't know how deeply you're going to be able to interact with those stories, if you're going to be able to like or comment on them. I'm not sure. But anyway, we will keep following that story, and I will go ahead and post the link to this blog post on the Instagram website. Okay, news out of Facebook. If you boost Facebook posts on a regular basis, you may soon notice that some post types are no longer eligible for boosting. That's because Facebook went through and streamlined. They looked at some of the less popular boosted posts and went ahead and took those off the menu. And I'm looking at this list, and some of these I didn't even know about. For example, as of September 15th, you will no longer be able to boost shares of a poll, shares of a note, change of a profile picture, and other action. I did not know you could boost the change of a profile picture. Interesting choice. Anyway, there's a whole list available. If you are interested, I will include the link in the blog post for this episode. This is over at the Facebook website. Okay, our content hit of the week is a post called Content Marketing and SEO, the Scalable Way to Be in the Right Place at the Right Time, by Marcus Miller on the Search Engine blog. Sometimes people ask me, well, do you do SEO? I say, well, I do content marketing, and there are definitely SEO elements within what I do, as well as there are content elements within what the SEO person does. So yes, like peanut butter and chocolate, content marketing and SEO are two great tastes that taste great together. And in this post, Marcus shows us several ways in which content marketing and SEO not only complement each other, but they can actually, using his word, supercharge each other. It is an excellent read, and I will, of course, provide the link in the blog post for this episode. That's it for this week's news feed. If you stumble across something you think might be of interest to your fellow content marketers, please tweet it to me at @RachParker so that we can share. Now it's time for this week's Spotlight segment, Rekindle the Romance with Relationship Marketing. Wow, wow, wow. I've been really trying, baby. Trying to hold back this feeling for so long. You get the idea. We're setting the mood here, and the mood is romance, because we are talking about relationship marketing. Now, I remember the first time I saw that term, relationship marketing, I said, well, that's dumb. Isn't all marketing about relationships, or shouldn't all marketing be about relationships? Well, the answer is no. In the context that it's used in marketing parlance, relationship marketing relates to your current customers as opposed to leads, prospects, etc. And it's easy to think about this. And the metaphor that I use, it's like dating versus having been in a long-term relationship. When a couple is dating, or as we say in Texas, when they're courting, they're trying to impress. The guy is springing for the expensive restaurant and the Valentine's Day roses. The girls dress up a little bit. They do the hair and makeup, even if you're just hanging out. And that's what we do. They're trying to impress each other. They're on their A game. And, fast forward a few years, and yeah, the sweatpants come out, and the expensive restaurant meals have been replaced with frozen pizza. And yeah, maybe the only flowers you get are the ones you accidentally pull up when you're weeding the garden. Things get comfortable. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just kind of the way things go. Well, the same thing can happen with our customer relationships. Think about what marketers do for business that they're chasing or for those qualified prospects versus what we do for current customers. The sales process is very much like a courtship. You're on your A game, you're showing up with little presents, you're complimenting, you're doing everything to try and get this person to the next level. And then with their customer, they're just kind of there, and you're certainly pleasant to them. You certainly give them very good service, but it's more of a comfortable type situation. We typically don't go out of our way to impress those current customers, but I am here to tell you that letting those relationships get a little sloppy is a bad idea, and here's why. Number one, it is far easier to sell to your existing companies. Really? Come on, Parker, get it together. It is easier to sell to your existing customers because they know you. They have engaged with you, but they've already slapped their dollars on the table for you, or their euros or whatever. And so they're already by definition in your target market because they have already purchased from you. So when you're thinking about who you're going to sell maybe a new product line or a different product line to, think about upselling or cross-selling those current customers because they've already been there. They've already been to the cash register. So if we ignore those folks, we're missing out on a huge opportunity. Number two, it is far cheaper to keep an existing customer than it is to get a new one. I've seen some surveys claiming that it takes up to 6 to 7 times more investment to gain a new customer than to keep an existing one. And then finally, existing customers are in the unique position to amplify your brand based on firsthand experience. We go fishing around for these influencers, and they may or may not pan out. They may not represent us well, but we have in our backyard or in our own little enclave here, we have the real experts. We have the folks who have witnessed firsthand what we've been able to do for them. So they are in a perfect position to be our brand evangelists. So those are a few reasons why it's worth the time and energy to re-engage and get back with those current customers and, as I like to put it, rekindle the romance. So how do we do that? We do that through relationship marketing. Now, according to one study, 68% of customers who leave a business do so because they're discouraged by the attitude of the customer service provider. In other words, they just don't feel appreciated. And sometimes I think of, I used to work for Reliant here in Houston, which is a utility company. And sometimes people would see ads on TV. It's like, sign up with Reliant and get this, get your first month free or get something like that. And some of these long-term customers were calling up and going, hey, what the hell, dude? I've been with you for years. Where's my free month? So, and that lack of appreciation, that seeing the same brand just bend over backwards for these prospects while the current customers are kind of neglected, that's what causes a lot of people to have a wandering eye and to start considering alternatives. So what are some of the things we can do? Well, number one, we can create a formal loyalty rewards program. Now, of course, this is going to depend on your specific product or service, your target audience, the people you work with. But if it does make sense for you to create a loyalty rewards program, there are a lot of sophisticated platforms out there. I've seen Belly recommended, Belly. There's one called Punch Card. There's one called Rezoop, Rezoop. I think that one is really good for e-commerce, just to name a few. And these platforms will let you create very intricate rewards programs, and it's like, set it and forget it. It integrates with your email marketing system, and it helps you systematize establishing touch points with those current customers to keep them coming back and to keep them engaged and delighted with what you do. The second thing we can do is listen. Really, really, really listen to what your current customers are saying. Look at the online reviews that they leave. Look at suggestions that they may have. Look at survey results. You may be doing surveys on a regular basis, but when's the last time you really really looked at some of the comments as opposed to just the statistical analysis. Remember, customer service is not just the job of the folks on the phone at your call center. Customer service is a company-wide job, and yes, that includes us in the marketing team. And I will tell you, all it takes sometimes is one bad experience to lose a customer for life. And customers who have been lost for life, they might not only not be recommending you, they might be actively dissuading people. Like if someone asks them for a recommendation, they'll say, oh, don't talk to these goobers because I was their customer for years and they totally ignored me. So keep that in mind. It's so important to listen to what your customers are saying and to respond. And maybe that response would be sometimes it's a one-on-one conversation with your customer service team, but sometimes it's content. Maybe they're saying, okay, I signed up for this software as a service. I have no idea what I'm doing. Could somebody walk me through? Could somebody have a webinar? Simple things like that. We need to be able to listen, and we need to respond. The third thing we can do is to create customer-focused content. So really look at the frequently asked questions that come into your call center. We look at the questions that people are Googling. We look at all kinds of sources of content for the people who are outside the gate, who are leads or prospects right now. But really look at what your current customers are saying. Listen online for the challenges that they're facing when they use your product or service. And, whether that's a weekly webinar, whether it's a cheat sheet that they can print or save on their desktop and refer to. Maybe it's a one-on-one walkthrough for new clients who just need a quick tour and a quick tutorial. So look at opportunities to create and leverage that customer-focused content. And if you want some good inspiration, look at what companies like HubSpot and Salesforce are doing. I mean, when they get a customer, they roll out the red carpet and they have absolutely everything available to help that customer get the most out of their software as a service program. And they're constantly rolling out more content to help customers use their products more effectively. So if you want some inspiration, look at HubSpot, look at Salesforce, look at those types of enterprises. The fourth thing we can do is to encourage participation. Remember, content marketing is not a bullhorn. It's a telephone. It really is. So think about ways to engage your customers. And what I think about is Blend Tech. They have those wonderful Will It Blend videos, and then they open it up and they told their customers, we want to see your Will It Blend challenge. What do you want to try blending in one of our blenders? And then they encourage them to share their videos on YouTube. So if you go to their YouTube channel, there's a whole playlist of their customer videos. That's just one idea, but think about how you can encourage participation among your current customers. I know sometimes brands that have very elaborate and intricate packaging, they will encourage customers to film their unpacking of their product when they get it. I mean, goofy things like that. It really does mean a lot because it's not only a touch point, but you're inviting people in saying, hey, we want you to be part of our content creation and we want you to be out there and we want the spotlight to be on you instead of us for a change. So think about ways that you can encourage user-created content and other opportunities for user or customer participation. And then finally, the fifth thing we can do, number 5 on my list, is to celebrate their successes. Now, I'm not talking about the standard customer success story where you talk about how they used your product or service to do amazing things. Those are wonderful. We need them. But help them celebrate their milestones. Did they launch a new product? Did one of your really good customers open a new location? Did they get some really beefy media coverage? Anything that they're proud of. Is their CEO presenting at a big industry conference that represents a big feather in their cap? Think about ways that you can put the spotlight on them and really congratulate them. And by the way, you don't have to call them out as your customers. If you're sensitive about that, you can always say our friends or congratulations to XYZ Corporation for their new product launch or their new location. You can work around it and just show your love, show your appreciation. So Bottom line, show your current customers at least as much love and attention as you show your prospects, and I guarantee they will love you right back. And when they love you, they will keep coming back to you. So that is my quick and dirty take on how we can rekindle the romance with relationship marketing. If you have any questions or want to add to the conversation, feel free to tweet me at @RachParker. Now it's time for our content marketing tip of the week. One terrific way to engage your current customers in your content creation is to invite them to participate in a panel discussion. And this would be a case where you pick a particular industry topic that interests a large percentage of your customers, and then you invite people representing that area to participate in a panel discussion. And you can do this via video. I know if you use platforms like Zoom, you can do that via video, or you could even do it in a text-based blog post. And it would be the same thing. You ask a question and then let each person comment on it. And it really accomplishes three things. Number one, you are acknowledging the thought leaders within your client base and giving them a chance to shine. Who doesn't enjoy that? Number two, you're sharing insights from the customer's perspective, which benefits your other customers. And then number three, you're offering them a wonderful, unique networking opportunity. So, some of the marketing gurus that I talk to that have created real communities around their brand, they talk about how their communities have become great networking opportunities. So if one of your customers is chiming in on a particular topic, someone might say, "Oh, look, he's with XYZ company. They do this. We need this. Let me give him a shout and see if we can do business." So it really serves both you and your customers on multiple levels. So the next time you look at your editorial calendar for opportunities to engage current customers, start brainstorming some ideas for putting together a panel and see what you come up with. Okay, campers, that is it for me today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Content Marketing Podcast. If you like what you've heard, please feel free to subscribe on iTunes or Google Play Music or via our RSS feed. And if you really like what you've heard, please leave us a quick review on iTunes. I would so appreciate it. Come on, guys, I sang for you. What more do you want? Also, if you want to learn more about content marketing, you'll want to grab a copy of my book, The Content Marketing Coach, Everything You Need to Get in the Game and Win. That is available in book and Kindle format on Amazon. To learn more about the book and to download a free chapter, visit contentmarketingcoachbook.com. As you know, I always like to leave you with a quote, and today's comes from Helen Keller. She once said, quote, "Character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, ambition inspired, and success achieved." Unquote. Again, this is Rachel Parker with Resonance Content Marketing. Thank you again for listening, and we will see you again next week. Take care.